So generally speaking, the process can be distilled down to something fairly simple, and it's usually a four-step process. So the first thing, step zero, as we tend to call it, is really kind of an analysis and planning. In order for us to be able to look at any significant project and plan how to do that work, we first need to spend a fair amount of time looking at your business, learning how it works, how we can streamline your current operations versus your what you're looking to have at the end of the day. So that's where we start off with that, and we'll take some time and go through all that work together with you, and at the end we'll be able to come up with a very detailed project plan, and we'll be able to furnish that plan to you. We can offer consulting advice, and at this point you have no further obligation. You've spent a lot of time now thinking about, what do we want to do. We've drawn a lot of that out. Now that you have this in hand, you see a whole bunch of different options that we can do, and you can even take that and go somewhere else with it if you want to. Once we pull the trigger on the actual build after doing this planning process, we're going to start off with some basic infrastructure. We're going to do some foundational type of work. It's a lot like building a house. We have to have that foundation in place in order to build a sound structure on top of it. We're going to spend a fair amount of time working on things like security and setting up infrastructure and making sure that the operating environment is all solid and working the way it's supposed to. And this infrastructure stage, what we call stage one, when we initially kick off, it usually takes at least a couple of weeks or so, and you won't see too much in that time, but that's essentially what we're doing. Again, just kind of like building a house. That foundation is very, very important. You don't ever really see it when everything is done, but obviously it has to be there. So that's what we start off with first. Once we've gotten far enough along with the infrastructure and the foundation type of work, we can start working on iterative development, and that's where we pick out whatever features we're going to start off with. We'll go ahead and we'll develop those features, and we usually do this in a 1 to 2 week cycle. So at the end of a week or two, at the end of a cycle, we'll deliver whatever we have, and this gives you a chance to look at it, offer some feedback, that type of stuff, and it helps keep everybody in the loop on both ends moving forward as we progress through the project. So this is really the bulk of the process here, is this iterative feature development, and this is usually the most exciting for everybody as well, because you get to see step by step as how things are being built, and what's really useful and all that type of stuff. And finally, the last stage after we have enough of these features built, where we can think about, okay, how are we going to be going live with this? How do we want to transition from your current software practices that you're using into these new ones and fully utilize it? So that's kind of the fourth stage. So we got our analysis and our planning comes first, and then after that we've got our infrastructure, which is our foundational build out. After that we've got our iterative development, where we build feature and feature and feature, and that's a very involved process for everybody, so that we're reviewing it. And then finally, when we're pretty much wrapped up with that, we can look into implementing the transition plan to finally get you from point A to point B, and that's it.